Hey, how you going there again? Hey, today I just wanted to go through creating an N8N workflow, and really what I'm doing here is starting to articulate or work with my amazing virtual assistant Lara, we've been working together for a long, long time, and I think my tech head sort of next level. So on this video, I want to start to sort of create some default workflows for Lara to in effect, hopefully A, learn how I've done it, and B, start to implement it. So what I want to do is I'll start a new chat, and I've got a number of projects here where I'm working with N8N or somewhere, and later on I'll put it into that project file. So I'm going to, this might take me a bit of time, it might take a little bit of critique, but I hope we'll do it in 6 to 10 minutes. So let's see how I go. So So what I'm moving towards is that when I create a YouTube video, which I've done this morning, well, I won't use this one, but I've used this. I want to be able to copy the URL, paste it into a Google Sheet, which will trigger the action to transcribe the video. That's what I'm ultimately looking for. And I know that there's going to be other variants, so we'll come back here. So in fact, what I might try and do, and I did this in the car, let me see if I can't record this or dictate. So what I'd like to achieve is that we can create a workflow in N8N that fundamentally allowed us to, or allowed me, once I'd created a YouTube video, I could paste it into a Google Sheet, and then via N8N, which I understand would need a secondary AI component to transcribe. I believe there's a different one needed there, and during this recording or transcription, you might also help answer me, chat, please, to what would be one of those platforms that we needed to add into our N8N workflow. So now we've started from a video, YouTube URL. We've added it to a Google Sheet. We've then got to transcribe that and deliver in some form or another. We want to end up ideally in our Obsidian platform as a text file. And we also want to be able to upload it or add it to our YouTube video. So when the reader sees it, they're going to get a full transcript. When we want to work with AI, we have a full transcript. And we really want to store that somewhere as seamlessly, which means automatically, as possible. Can you help me to first explain what I've asked for, and second, illustrate or advise me on the best strategy to move forward? My ultimate objective at the end is that we've created a JSON file that Lara can literally copy and paste and add to her N8N for adding the credentials and all those sort of parts that are required. Thank you. So whilst that's sort of transcribing, and I've done this driving down the car, and it's been very, very quick. And we'll notice on my desktop it actually takes quite a bit longer for some reason. I haven't worked that out. But ultimately, you've seen what I've done, and I'm just talking. There you go. Like, pretty cool. Yeah. So that's the transcription. It's just validating. Now, I'm not going to proofread. I'm just going to say, okay, you've understood what I've asked for. Now, so that's transcribed. Awesome. I'll convert that and have a look at how good it comes back. So for the moment, it's summarizing what I've asked for. It starts with pasting triggers, fetch video, transcribe it, fine. So look at that. So this is pretty much spot on what I'm actually trying to create. And in fact, I'm going to ask one more thing. Could you Sorry. So what I'm doing there, and I think you've been able to read it, ideally, could you create a workflow diagram that helps illustrate, because different people will learn different ways, and now we can put that to the front of the video, sort of illustrates what we're going to need, and I think the rest makes sense. We're just sort of creating that start image of the workflow, and while it does its thing, I think it's come up pretty damn good, right? So whisper, so choose a so that's where I was saying, but I wasn't really sure, so I asked the question, and here it is here of what it's suggesting, and realistically, you know, once that's happened, like, have a look at this. This is so cool. This is so cool. And I don't even know how long I've been going for yet, but it's literally minutes to create something that hands over to the next team member in a pretty crystallized, clear way, and can start to be implemented in effect pretty much straight away. Now, the implementation process, my next thing will be to take this to I'm checking in my mind, I'm validating the workflow, which is spot on, Yep, so Google Sheets, we want to okay, so watch for new row. It probably could have had an illustration of if it was the perfect workflow diagram. Let me ask this. If it was the perfect workflow diagram, it would probably illustrate what was going on at the primary activity. So could you add maybe an image of a YouTube image at the start of the workflow, yet maintain what you've added there? So what I'm trying to illustrate is that it starts from a YouTube video and then goes to the Google Sheet. You download the audio from that using Whisper, I'll call it. I think your workflow diagram is probably not quite correct associated to what my interpretation is. Let's see how you go with that one. Chat, thank you. So see, even the way that I'm conversing with it, I'm actually almost having a purely conversational based, but I do have my intentions of achieving, and that's part of what I'll call a good prompt. You've got to give it the information, you've got to give it the direction being the outcome you desire. And because I've been working with chat now for a little bit, it's given me some insights, and it's been a bit of a learning curve. I've done software as well, and that's been quite techy and challenging, and learning new ways to converse and lock up, I'll call it, in methodology, and create standard workflows between chat and myself. Quality control checks is probably the best way to say that. So I'm not going to go too far. I am going to sort of start to wind this video back, but I am going to sort of just, for my next step, in fact, I don't know. Sorry, I'm focusing on my keyboard rather than focusing on my comments. So core activities and now in my mind, so that's pretty cool. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot better. So I'm not convinced that it's perfect yet, but it is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's actually creating a text file here. I don't know what it's going to do with that text file. Actually, I'm going to cut this for the moment. I'm going to go, but because what it has done is it's actually triggered my mind to, we probably need to notify that it's actually completed. So send an email. I'm going to call it an email address Lara chooses. When the process is completed. So what I'm saying there, so sorry. So probably because I'm a little bit caffeined up right now, and I'm doing my typos and what have you. What I'm sort of seeing in amongst here that I'm probably doing a little bit incorrectly associated to the perfect prompts, I'm probably asking it to do a number of activities where I should almost bring it back to one activity at a time. You know, I've probably seen it more specifically in trying to create or write code, whereby it's almost like I get part of result because I didn't give it full clarity over here, and it sort of creates then confusion between the two of us. But it's really about 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, and getting into, you know, if I go back to my prompting, the method of prompts, I've started with a big picture. We've got clarity between chat and the way that I communicate with chat, and we've zoomed in and we've got more clarity, if I may. And the bigger the information to begin, we've in effect created big prompts, I'll phrase it, which is like a big prompts this. And then once we've defaulted and we've got clarity, it's almost like my prompt became a one word, and there's a format, a one word prompt. And that one word prompt was almost like a quality control check that said, and always do all of this stuff that we've spoken about. And text means I want to get a text result. Yeah, so so let's see what that gives me back. And let's just see what happens. I'm not saying that, well, look, obviously it's doing step 1. We've got the little stop button here that we might be able to stop it in midstream. But yeah, it's doing that first step. Let's just see what it does. And I'm going to pause for a moment just to minimize the length of the overall video. So what I've noticed here is, see, this is the sort of thing where I talk about the amount of information going into, if I may, a prompt. And even though I've said this component, it's done part of it, but it's actually changed part of it as well. So this to me was actually working with Whisper and everything, you know. Sorry, so even though I'm doing a bit of chatting and what have you, and I'm not typing doing a few typos, I'm really trying to sort of almost go through in my own mind. I'm trying to go through almost like a quality control check that it actually does understand what I'm actually asking for. So I don't know whether what this will return as we do it. Very courteous, aren't I? So yeah, I think that's basically, and for now, I'm not going to get too carried away with the next step. It's more about off we go. Yeah. So I think this is pretty cool, and somehow or another, I'm going to sort of start to. My brain cells have gone trigger. How could somebody else get this template? Where do I put that template? And for me, let's just see what we come up with and get started on. So watching. We've got to go mobile soon, but we'll do this, close this video out, and we'll see what this image presents. Drum roll. It's like the first, the second, revealing, the big reveal. Sounds like my daughter's big reveal for when it announced the sex of her baby coming. So look, that's pretty good. I'm going to stick with that. Yeah. So I'm going to download that somehow, if it's not already. So now let's go back. And then we also had the JSON file. No, we haven't yet. So very personalised. It's a very personalised conversation that I'm doing, and for me, it's sort of it's making it relatable in my mind to who I'm talking to and why am I actually doing this. So, you know, if I was trying to do this, it'd take me hours upon hours, and I just don't have that time. Even right now, it's sort of like realistically. So. So what I'm trying to do is, all right, that's given me a downloadable file, but that's probably not the real way I want to go. But now she can simply push this copy button. You know, it's going to map it all out inside N8N with a simple, very, very simple copy paste, very simple. And then we would start to set up, look at that, like how cool is it? It is so cool, yeah? So what that's asking me, and I will do this step as well. So as part of my overall workflow and unpacking all of this experience, you know, so now I can literally copy this, go back to my thing here. I'm into a YouTube. I'm going to make a new comment in new chat, and it's going to be now why am I doing this? I don't know. I'm just going to put, whoops. I'm not even sure. See that, like I don't even. So that'll do me for start, yeah? And I'll just maybe rename that for the moment. So now whenever we come in along, I can simply click on here and here it is, and I can probably just copy paste that again. So to me, that's pretty cool. To me, this is pretty cool, and really, yeah, and there it all is. So I'm pretty damn happy with that. I'll share Lara a little URL here and this video, but I think that's about it for now. Upwards and onwards. Here's to your success. Anthony, Systems for Success. Talk to you in the next one. Bye. I just got to find the stop button.